From the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Hello, everybody. Mark Levin here. Our number, 877-381-3811, 877-381-3811. The Democrat leadership holds on to power like the old Russian oligarchs, and Nancy Pelosi fits in perfectly. Cut 7, go.
For the special interest, mortgaging our future with their tax scam for lower prescription drug prices. Monday marks the 53rd anniversary since they've had it in the Ryan budget again and again. But don't just rest on that. Send jobs overseas. Then on that money, over $2 trillion in cuts. President Trump's disgraceful, dangerous elections by filing a resolution. 3 election technology. Did you know this? 3 election technology vendors. On protecting our democracy from Russia, on lowering prescription drug costs, and rebuilding America. Over the coming weeks, House Democrats will continue that drumbeat across America. In apprehensions, their hopes and dreams and fears. So when the president presents himself in such a dangerous, destructive, and disgraceful way, when it comes to raising wages, lowering, he said wouldn't instead of would, or would instead of wouldn't, whatever that was. How do you explain that? We have to defend the Constitution. It's the oath we take. We didn't even know about this yesterday, but it isn't. Why talking?
It's a montage of the utterly incoherent buffoon who is Nancy Pelosi. May I say that? Maybe Media Matters will pick up on that. I'm going to get to a few other things here. The Obama administration knowingly funded a designated al-Qaeda affiliate. This is in National Review by Sam Westrup. The Middle East Forum has discovered that the Obama administration approved a grant of $200,000 of taxpayer money to an al-Qaeda affiliate in Sudan, a decade after the U.S. Treasury Department designated it as a terrorist financing organization. More stunningly, government officials specifically authorized the release of at least $115,000 of this grant, even after learning that it was a designated terror organization. I don't believe Bob Menendez asked the Secretary of State about this and whether he condemns what the Obama administration did. The story began in October 2004 when the U.S. Treasury Department Office of Foreign Assets Control designated the Khartoum-based Islamic Relief Agency, also known as Islamic African Relief Agency, as a terror financing organization. It did so because of ISRA's links to Osama bin Laden and his organization's Maktab al-Yabadaba, the precursor of al-Qaeda. According to the U.S. Treasury, in 1997, ISRA established formal cooperation with MK, the Yabadaba, that al-Qaeda group, and it goes on and on and on. So there's your Obama administration funding al-Qaeda. There's your Obama administration funding the Islamo-Nazi regime in Tehran. But the Democrats are worried about Trump. They're worried about Trump selling out to Russia. He hasn't sold a damn thing out to Russia. Now, the Turkish government, this Erdogan is a fascist pig. He is an Islamic jihadist type now. He's taken this magnificent country of Turkey, which had a modern government founded really by Ataturk. And here he is, throwing people in jail, having people killed, conspiracy theorist. He is obsessed with the Jews in Israel. He's a big-time anti-Semite. He's also anti-Christian, and he's got a Christian minister, an American, who's been locked up, and the president wants him out. He's a spy. He's not a spy. He's a Christian minister. See, guys like Erdogan, these Islamic what should I call them? Fascists of his sort, or you look at Hamas and the rest, they view Jews and Christians really of the same ilk. They view Christianity as an outgrowth of Judaism. They view Jews and Christians the way the Romans did, quite frankly, 3,500 years ago. And so they're all expendable. As a matter of fact, they all should be expendable. That's the thinking. And Erdogan's one of them. This is a NATO country who is now cutting deals with Russia. This is a NATO country trying to slaughter Kurds. They are Muslims, and they are our allies, and they fight like hell on our side, and we ought to be defending them. And so they have this minister there, Pastor Brunson, and they won't let him go. Here's Mike Pence today. Cut 5, go.
Pastor Brunson was in prison without being charged for more than a year. And when the Turkish government finally indicted him, they accused him allegedly of dividing and separating Turkey by simply spreading his Christian faith. Pastor Andrew Brunson is an innocent man. There is no credible evidence against him. Our entire administration has worked tirelessly to secure Pastor Brunson's release. Yesterday, Turkey released Pastor Brunson from prison, only to place him under house arrest. This is a welcome first step, but it is not good enough.
Cut 6.
And to President Erdogan and the Turkish government, I have a message on behalf of the President of the United States of America. Release Pastor Andrew Brunson now, or be prepared to face the consequences. If Turkey does not take immediate action to free this innocent man of faith and send him home to America, the United States will impose significant sanctions on Turkey until Pastor Andrew Brunson is free.
Erdogan now, ladies and gentlemen, is our enemy. It creates a complicated military and geopolitical situation. Complicated situation with NATO, but he's our enemy. He works with the Syrians. He works with the Russians. He's undermining the United States. He's threatening Israel. All the usual stuff. And Congress so far has stepped up to deny him our new jet fighters, and we must, because he'll take our technology and, without question, give it to the Russians, among others. Now, I want to talk about freedom. Your freedom. I want to talk about prices. High prices and low prices. Do you think the government should be setting prices for the products that you want to buy? Do you think the government should be involved in determining what products you should buy? Do you think the government should increase the price of the food you put on the table for yourself and your family? Or the automobile you need to have in order to get back and forth from work? Or the tractor that you might use as a farmer in order to till your fields or harvest your corn or your wheat? How about those of you who produce automobiles, assembly line workers, those of you who produce the parts, of which there are many? Think the government should drive up the costs to make it more difficult for the consumer to purchase them? How about washing machines and dishwashers? How about dryers? How about toasters? How about nails? That is what tariffs do. I'm truly disgusted and sick and tired with people who claim to support capitalism and oppose socialism, who claim to support limited government against centralized government, who genuflect, turn themselves inside out, look like pretzels with their logic for tariffs in this administration. The president has reversed course. The president was on my show a couple of years ago, pushing fair trade. He, Bernie Sanders, Democrat Party, certain industrial unions want to be protected. These industries protected, not to compete, to be protected. All the arguments I used to hear apparently don't matter anymore. Well, Mark, how can we compete when their salaries are less than ours in the third world? Well, their salaries are still going to be less. Or when they manipulate their currency, well, they're still going to manipulate their currency. The president hasn't withdrawn the $12 billion in tax subsidies for soybean farmers who don't even want it. That's still on the table, despite the announced deal to get a deal with the EU on certain non-automobile products. The president now talks about using tariffs to promote no tariffs and no subsidies, which he says he laid on the table after the G7 meeting. This is a new position for the president. It's a new argument developed by his staff, by Steve Miller, by this other guy, Peter Navarrete, or whatever the hell his name is, by Wilbur Ross. It's slick, but I'm not buying it. We should reduce, slash taxes on the American people. That's what tariffs are. And the federal government is the winner. When you pay 40% more for steel and you're manufacturing cars, or you're paying 25% more for aluminum or 12% more for lumber, that is a VAT tax. That is a federal sales tax. That is a tax that goes to the bloated federal government that you're not supposed to like. It drives up prices for the American people. But Mark, you don't understand. It's 3 levels chess, 4 levels chess. I guess Herbert Hoover didn't understand either. It's not any chess. The European Union today is saying that they defeated Trump. That they were able to persuade him not to put 25% tariffs on automobiles because they gave him the soybeans and they gave him the this and they gave him the that. That's what they're saying today. Others are saying the president is doing this because he sees the farm belt, which he needs, is suffering. And I know they're suffering because people are calling this show one after another, after another, after another. These are hardworking American citizens, many of whom are Republicans. Politics should not be involved in this. Government should not be deciding who wins and who loses. If, in fact, tariffs work, then why not put 25% on automobiles? Why would the UAW oppose that? Why do the automobile companies oppose that? If they help the middle class, if they help blue-collar workers, if they help union members. Because they don't. And if they worked, we wouldn't need a $12 billion subsidy plan for our soy farmers, would we? Who's next? We got a number of companies that are suffering right now. You can go Google them. They're not unpatriotic. The laws of economics are like the laws of physics. They don't change because we have a different president. They are what they are. What I'm telling you is not a theory. It's not an abstraction. It's not about being pure for free market capitalism and so forth. It's the law of economics. It's how it works. It's like mathematics. It's like physics. It is what it is. It's like natural law. It is what it is. Certain eternal truths. And to come back, oh, look what I did. I got them to, now we're going to negotiate no tariffs and no subsidies. For what? For their soybeans, I wasn't aware that Europe grew a lot of soybeans. Do they, Mr. Producer? No, they buy soybeans. And this is declared as a victory. We should slash our tariffs, eliminate our subsidies. No company should be subsidized. No business should be subsidized with taxpayer dollars. That is outrageous. We should be slashing taxes on the American people and watch all the money from all over the world pour into the United States. Because that's what happens. And create a new industrial revolution. The first industrial revolution was not created with tariffs and protectionism. Quite the contrary. It was a freewheeling economy. Created the largest middle class on the planet that mankind has ever seen. Despite all the propaganda films from the left. They created so many of the services and products and luxuries that we have today and laid the foundation for those things. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.